The silence of space was broken only by the gentle hum of life support systems aboard the Artemis VII, Earth's most advanced long-range exploration vessel. Captain Sarah Chen stared out at the vast expanse of stars, her dark eyes reflecting pinpricks of light from distant suns. The ship had just completed its survey of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, and was preparing for the long journey home. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomalous reading," Lieutenant James Rodriguez called out from his station, his fingers flying over holographic displays. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Sarah's heart quickened. After months of routine scans and data collection, this could be the discovery they'd been hoping for. On screen, Lieutenant. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a section of space near Jupiter's upper atmosphere. At first, Sarah saw nothing out of the ordinary. Then, a shimmer caught her eye, a distortion in the fabric of space itself. "Magnify," she ordered, leaning forward in her chair. As the image zoomed in, gasps echoed across the bridge. There, barely visible against the swirling storms of Jupiter, was a ship. But it was unlike any ship Sarah had ever seen. Its hull seemed to ripple and shift, as if it were made of liquid metal. Tendrils of energy arced across its surface, pulsing with an otherworldly light. "My God," Sarah whispered, "it's not one of ours." For a moment, the bridge crew sat in stunned silence. They had all dreamed of this moment, trained for it, but now that it was here, the reality was almost overwhelming. "Captain," Rodriguez said, his voice trembling slightly, "the ship appears to be damaged. I'm detecting energy fluctuations consistent with a failing power core." Sarah's mind raced. Protocol dictated that they should maintain a safe distance and contact Earth for instructions. But Earth was hours away by their fastest communications, and if that ship's core was failing... "Helm, bring us closer," Sarah ordered. "Communications, broadcast on all frequencies. Let them know we're here to help." As the Artemis VII approached the alien vessel, Sarah could see the damage more clearly. Parts of the hull were blackened and scarred, as if the ship had been caught in some cosmic storm. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the alien craft, enveloping the Artemis in a soft, blue glow. "Captain," Rodriguez shouted, "they're hailing us." Sarah took a deep breath. This was it. First contact. "Put it through," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The view screen flickered, and Sarah found herself staring into eyes that were decidedly not human. The alien's face was vaguely humanoid, with smooth, silvery skin that seemed to shimmer like quicksilver. Its eyes were large and multifaceted, reflecting the light of 1,000 stars. "Greetings, beings of the blue world," the alien said, its voice a melodic hum that seemed to bypass their ears and resonate directly in their minds. "We are the Zaraquin, and we are in need of assistance." Sarah stood, drawing herself up to her full height. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Artemis VII. We stand ready to help." The alien's expression shifted in a way Sarah couldn't quite interpret. "Your offer is most gracious, Captain Sarah Chen. Our ship has been damaged by a temporal anomaly. We require rare elements to effect repairs, elements we believe your world possesses in abundance." Sarah hesitated. Sharing Earth's resources with an unknown alien species was well beyond her authority. But the alternative was to leave them stranded, possibly to die. That wasn't an option she was willing to consider. "We'll do what we can to help," Sarah said, "but I'll need to contact my superiors on Earth. In the meantime, if your ship is in danger of imminent failure, we can offer emergency assistance." The alien's face rippled in what Sarah hoped was a sign of gratitude. "Your kindness will not be forgotten, Captain. We accept your offer of emergency aid." Over the next few hours, the crew of the Artemis VI worked tirelessly to stabilize the Zaraquin ship. Sarah marveled at the alien technology, so advanced it bordered on magic. Yet, for all their sophistication, the Zaraquin seemed genuinely impressed by human ingenuity and resourcefulness. As they worked, Sarah learned more about the Zaraquin. They were a peaceful race of explorers and scientists, much like the crew of the Artemis VOI. Their ship had been caught in a temporal rift while studying an unusual stellar phenomenon, damaging critical systems and stranding them far from home. "Your species is young," the Zarquin leader, who called himself San, told Sarah as they watched their crews work together. "But there is a fire in you, a drive that we have not seen in eons. It is refreshing." Sarah smiled. "We have a saying on Earth: necessity is the mother of invention. When we're pushed to our limits, that's when we often make our greatest leaps forward." San's multifaceted eyes seemed to twinkle. "A wise saying. Perhaps it is no coincidence that our paths have crossed, Captain Sarah Chen. There is much we could learn from each other." As the repairs neared completion, Sarah received a transmission from Earth. She had expected bureaucratic hand-wringing and orders to maintain distance. Instead, she was surprised to find enthusiasm and support for her decision to aid the Zarquin. "You've opened a door, Captain Chen," Admiral Yoshida told her, his weathered face beaming with pride. "The UN Security Council has unanimously approved a formal invitation for the Zarquin to visit Earth. You're to escort them home." Sarah's heart soared. This was more than just first contact, it was the beginning of a new era for humanity. When she relayed the invitation to San, the alien's entire body seemed to glow with excitement. "We accept with great joy, Captain. Let this be the beginning of a long and prosperous friendship between our peoples." As the Artemis VII and the Zarquin ship set course for Earth, Sarah gazed out at the stars once more. But this time, the vastness of space didn't feel empty or cold. It felt full of promise, of untold wonders waiting to be discovered. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and Sarah Chen knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Cultural exchange. The sleek form of the Artemis VII cut through Earth's atmosphere, flanked by the shimmering bulk of the Zarquin vessel. As they descended, Captain Sarah Chen couldn't help but marvel at the sight of her home planet, now forever changed by the knowledge that humanity was not alone in the universe. "Prepare for landing," she ordered, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. This wasn't just any landing. It was a moment that would be etched in history books for generations to come. As the ships touched down on the specially prepared landing zone outside of Geneva, Sarah saw the welcoming committee assembled on the tarmac. World leaders, scientists, and diplomats stood side by side, their faces a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The Artemis VOI's hatch opened with a hiss, and Sarah stepped out into the warm sunlight. She turned to watch as the Zarquin ship's entrance spiraled open, revealing San and his crew. The alien's quicksilver skin rippled in the sunlight, drawing gasps from the assembled crowd. San's multifaceted eyes took in the scene before him, his head tilting in what Sarah had come to recognize as an expression of curiosity. "Welcome to Earth," UN Secretary-General Amara Okoro said, stepping forward with a warm smile. "We are honored to host you and eager to learn from one another." San's body shimmered, a gesture Sarah now knew indicated pleasure. "The honor is ours, leaders of Earth. We come in peace and with great curiosity about your world and your people." As the formal greetings concluded, Sarah found herself swept up in a whirlwind of debriefings, press conferences, and diplomatic meetings. The world was abuzz with news of the alien visitors, and everyone wanted a piece of the action. But it was in the quieter moments that Sarah truly began to appreciate the magnitude of what was happening. She watched as San and his crew explored Earth's cultures with unbridled enthusiasm, their childlike wonder at things humans took for granted reminding her to see her own world through fresh eyes. In a bustling market in Marrakech, San marveled at the vibrant spices and textiles. "Such diversity of color and texture," he exclaimed, his skin shifting to mimic the patterns around him. "On our world, function always precedes form, but here, it seems beauty is a function in itself." Sarah smiled, seeing her world anew through alien eyes. "Beauty feeds the soul," she said. "It inspires us, drives us to create and explore." As weeks turned into months, the cultural exchange deepened. The Zarquin shared glimpses of their advanced technology, clean energy sources that could revolutionize Earth's power grids, medical techniques that bordered on miraculous. In return, humanity offered its art, its music, its boundless creativity. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a renowned physicist, worked closely with the Zarquin scientists to unravel the mysteries of their faster-than-light travel. "It's like they've rewritten the laws of physics," she told Sarah over coffee one day, her eyes bright with excitement. "But when I showed them how we've applied quantum entanglement to computing, they were equally amazed. It's a true exchange of ideas." Not everyone was thrilled with the alien presence, of course. Sarah found herself navigating a minefield of political tensions and public fears. Some saw the Zarquin as saviors, others as a threat to human autonomy. "We cannot become dependent on alien technology," argued Senator Marcus Blackwood in a heated UN session. "What happens when they leave? We must protect our own interests." But for every voice of dissent, there were many more eager to embrace this new chapter in human history. Schools around the world incorporated Zarquin language and culture into their curriculums. Artists created works inspired by the cosmic ballet of Zarquin spacecraft. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to adapt alien concepts to Earth technology. 6 months into the Zarquin stay, Sarah found herself at a gala celebrating the successful adaptation of Zarquin water purification technology to solve drought crises in several African nations. As she watched humans and aliens mingling, sharing jokes and ideas, she felt a surge of pride in her species. "You seem pleased, Captain Chen," Kexan said, gliding up beside her. His skin was currently a swirl of dark blues and silvers, mirroring the formal attire of the human guests. Sarah nodded. "I am. Look at us, San. A year ago, we thought we were alone in the universe. Now, we're working together to solve problems that have plagued us for centuries. It's incredible." San's eyes sparkled. "Indeed, your people have surprised us, Sarah. We expected curiosity, perhaps fear. But this enthusiasm, this drive to learn and grow, it is truly remarkable." As the night wore on, Sarah found herself on a balcony overlooking the city lights of New York. The Zarquin ship hovered in the distance, a constant reminder of how much had changed. "Penny for your thoughts, Captain." The voice belonged to Dr. Omar Bashir, one of the lead scientists working on integrating Zarquin technology. Sarah smiled, just thinking about how far we've come, and wondering what's next. Omar's expression grew serious. "That's actually why I wanted to talk to you. We've detected something unusual, a series of gravitational anomalies on the edge of our solar system. The Zarquin are concerned. They say it bears similarities to phenomena they've encountered before." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "What kind of phenomena?" Omar hesitated, the kind that precede an invasion. The weight of his words hung in the air between them. Sarah looked back at the party, at the joyous mingling of humans and aliens. They had achieved so much in such a short time. The thought that it could all be threatened. "We need to prepare," she said, her voice low but firm. "Quietly for now. We don't want to cause a panic, but if there's even a chance of a threat, we need to be ready." Omar nodded. "I'll gather a team. We'll work with the Zarquin, see what they know." As Omar left, Sarah turned back to the view of the city. The world had changed so much since she'd first encountered the Zarquin ship near Jupiter. Now it seemed it was about to change again. But this time, humanity wouldn't be facing the unknown alone. Whatever was coming, they would face it together, humans and Zarquin, united by their shared love of exploration and discovery. Sarah squared her shoulders, a determined glint in her eye. "Let them come," she thought. "We'll be ready." Alien invasion. The first signs of trouble came on a crisp autumn morning. Captain Sarah Chen was in a high-level briefing with UN officials and Zarquin representatives when the alarms blared. "Multiple objects entering the solar system," announced Admiral Yoshida. his face grim on the holographic display. "They're moving fast, faster than anything we've ever seen." Sans quicksilver skin rippled with concern. "It is as we feared. The Krellador have found us." "Krellador?" Sarah asked, her mind racing. "Who are they?" "A warrior race," San explained, his multifaceted eyes dimming. "They seek to conquer and assimilate all advanced civilizations they encounter. We have been running from them for centuries." The room erupted into chaos as officials demanded answers and action plans. Sarah locked eyes with UN Secretary General Okoro, who gave her a subtle nod. "Everyone, please." Sarah's voice cut through the din. "Panic won't help us. We need a plan, and we need it now." Over the next few hours, a global defense strategy was hastily assembled. The Zaraquin shared what they knew of Krellador tactics and technology, while Earth's military leaders scrambled to adapt their forces. "Our biggest advantage is that they don't know we're here," Dr. Omar Bashir pointed out. "They're likely following the Zarquin's trail. If we can mask the Earth's electromagnetic signature, we can buy ourselves some time," Sarah finished. "Good thinking, Omar. Let's make it happen." As the Earth held its breath, hidden behind a veil of Zarquin stealth technology, the Krellador fleet entered the solar system. Their ships were monstrous, bristling with weapons, a stark contrast to the elegant Zarquin vessels. From a hidden base on the far side of the moon, Sarah watched the enemies approach on a massive view screen. "They're heading for Mars," she observed. "They must think that's where the Zarquins settled." San nodded, his skin a muted grey of concern. "A common tactic. They will establish a beachhead there before expanding their search." For 3 tense days, Earth watched and waited as the Krellador began constructing a base on Mars. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, adapting Zarquin technology to Earth's defenses and refitting satellites with alien weaponry. On the 4th day, disaster struck. "Captain Chen," Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled over the comm. "A civilian communications satellite just came online, some tech company's private internet project. The Krellador have detected it." Sarah's blood ran cold. "Shut it down now." But it was too late. The Krellador fleet was already changing course, heading straight for Earth. "All stations, battle stations," Sarah commanded. "This is not a drill. Initiate Operation Thunderbolt." Around the globe, hidden defense platforms hummed to life. Retrofitted fighter jets scrambled from secret bases, their hulls gleaming with a mix of human and Zarquin technology. As the Krellador ships entered Earth's atmosphere, they were met with a barrage of fire unlike anything they had encountered before. Laser cannons powered by Zarquin energy cells sliced through Krellador's shields. Missiles guided by hybrid AI systems found weaknesses in alien hulls. But the Krellador were not easily defeated. Their return fire decimated cities and military installations alike. The sky burned with the fury of 2 advanced civilizations locked in mortal combat. In the chaos of battle, Sarah found herself on the bridge of the Artemis VII, now upgraded with Zarquin tech. Beside her stood San, his quicksilver form solidified into battle armor. "We're outgunned," Sarah admitted, watching as another human cruiser exploded in a ball of fire. "We need a new strategy." San's multifaceted eyes narrowed. Perhaps it is time we showed the Krellador why they should fear humanity as much as they fear us." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "Your people possess a quality we Zarquin lost long ago," San explained. "Unpredictability. Creativity in the face of insurmountable odds. It is time to embrace that chaos." A slow smile spread across Sarah's face as a plan formed in her mind. It was risky, borderline insane, but it just might work. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," she called out, "get me a line to every remaining ship in the fleet, and patch me through to Dr. Bashir on the moon base." As Sarah outlined her plan, she saw hope rekindling in the eyes of her crew. It was a long shot, but it was all they had. "Well, folks," she said, straightening her uniform, Let's show these Krellador why they should never have messed with Earth. The battle raged on, but now there was a new energy in the human forces. Pilots executed maneuvers that defied both physics and logic, confounding the Krellador targeting systems. On the ground, guerrilla tactics kept the invaders off balance. And high above the Earth, in the Artemis VII, Sarah Chen prepared to unleash humanity's secret weapon, a combination of human audacity and Zarquin technology that would change the course of the war. As she gave the order to initiate the final phase of her plan, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. Whatever happened next, the Earth would never be the same. But one thing was certain: humanity would not go quietly into the night. With a deep breath, she pressed the button that would decide the fate of two civilizations. "Now," she said, her voice steady, "we fight back." Human ingenuity. The plan was audacious, bordering on insane. But as Captain Sarah Chen had learned, sometimes insanity was humanity's greatest strength. "All units, initiate Operation Trojan Horse." Sarah's voice crackled over the secure comm channel. "May Lady Luck smile upon us all." Across the globe, a synchronized dance of technology and human willpower began. In orbit, seemingly defeated human ships suddenly came back to life, their systems rebooted with a hybrid of Earth and Zarquin tech. But instead of attacking, they began to emit a complex series of electromagnetic pulses. On the Artemis VI's bridge, Dr. Omar Bashir's face appeared on the main screen, his eyes alight with nervous energy. "Captain, the EM Pulse Network is online. We're ready to begin Phase 2. Sarah nodded, her expression grim but determined. "Do it." In that moment, every active electronic device on Earth, from smartphones to power grids, began broadcasting a carefully crafted signal. The Krellador ships, which had been effortlessly swatting aside Earth's conventional defenses, suddenly found themselves bombarded by an overwhelming flood of data. "It's working," Lieutenant Rodriguez exclaimed, his fingers flying over his console. "Their systems are trying to process the data in flux. Their shields are fluctuating." San, standing beside Sarah, his quicksilver form rippling with excitement, explained, "The Krellador rely heavily on automated systems. By flooding them with contradictory data from millions of sources, we've essentially given their ships a digital migraine." But Sarah knew they couldn't celebrate yet. This was only the first phase of their desperate gambit. "All fighter squadrons, you have your targets," she commanded. "Hit them hard and hit them fast." Around the world, squadrons of fighter jets, a mix of traditional aircraft and hastily retrofitted civilian planes, launched their assault. Piloted by the best Earth had to offer, they darted between the massive Krellador ships, exploiting gaps in their weakened defenses. Meanwhile, on the ground, another aspect of humanity's ingenuity came into play. In cities and towns across the globe, ordinary citizens turned everyday objects into weapons against the invaders. In Tokyo, a group of robotics engineers reprogrammed construction mechs to grapple with Krellador ground forces. In Rio de Janeiro, samba schools used their massive parade floats as mobile cover for guerrilla attacks. In Mumbai, Bollywood stunt performers led daring raids to sabotage alien equipment. "This is insane," Sarah muttered, watching the reports flood in. "It shouldn't be working, but it is." San's multifaceted eyes gleamed with what Sarah now recognized as admiration. "This is why we were drawn to your world, Sarah. This adaptability, this refusal to submit to overwhelming odds. It is uniquely human." But the Krellador were not a galactic power for nothing. As their ships began to adapt to the data assault, their counterattack was swift and brutal. Energy beams lanced down from the sky, carving swaths of destruction across the planet. "We're losing ground in the Eastern Hemisphere," Rodriguez reported, his voice tense. "The data flood is becoming less effective." Sarah gritted her teeth. They had known this was a possibility. It was time for Phase 3. "Dr. Bashir," she called out, "initiate the Lazarus Protocol." On the moon base, Omar's team sprang into action. They had spent weeks cannibalizing old satellites, defunct space stations, and even space junk, retrofitting them with a mix of human and Zarquin tech. Now, at Sarah's command, these cobbled-together weapons platforms came to life. Seemingly dead satellites suddenly lit up, their improvised weapons systems targeting Kreldor ships. Derelict space stations, long abandoned, fired up ancient thrusters and began kamikaze runs against the alien fleet. My God, Sam breathed, watching the space around Earth come alive with unexpected defenses. You turned your own garbage into a defense grid. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. One person's trash is another person's treasure, or in this case, orbital defense system. The battle raged on, with neither side willing to give ground. Earth's patchwork defenses, born of desperate innovation and sheer human stubbornness, held the line against the Kreldor's superior technology. But Sarah knew they were living on borrowed time. The Lazarus Protocol had bought them a reprieve, but the Kreldor were already adapting. They needed a knockout blow, something the enemy couldn't possibly prepare for. As if reading her thoughts, San placed a shimmering hand on her shoulder. Sarah, he said, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant, there is one more option, but it is dangerous, and it will require a great sacrifice. Sarah met his gaze, seeing the weight of centuries in those alien eyes. Tell me, she said simply. As San outlined his plan, Sarah felt a mix of hope and dread settle in her stomach. It was risky, potentially catastrophic if it went wrong. But if it worked, do it, she said, her voice firm. Whatever it takes to save Earth. As Sam began preparations, Sarah turned back to the view screen, watching the battle unfold. Humanity had proven its worth today, standing toe-to-toe with a vastly superior foe. But the real test was yet to come. Hold the line, she whispered, as much to herself as to the brave souls fighting across the globe. Just a little longer. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, and the next few hours would determine whether humanity would rise to new heights or fall into the abyss of history. Alien Alliance. As Sam prepared for what could be their final gambit, Sarah felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders. The bridge of the Artemis VI hummed with tension, each crew member acutely aware of the stakes. Captain, Sam said, his quicksilver form pulsing with an inner light, what we're about to attempt has never been done before. It will require perfect synchronization between our technologies and a leap of faith. Sarah nodded, her jaw set with determination. Faith in each other is all we have left. Let's make it count. San's plan was as brilliant as it was dangerous. The Zarquin possessed the ability to manipulate quantum fields, a talent they had kept hidden even from their human allies until now. Combined with Earth's mastery of electromagnetic waves, they hoped to create a quantum resonance cascade that could disrupt the Kreldor fleet's neural network. All stations, prepare for Operation Quantum Leap, Sarah announced over the ship-wide comm. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. As the Artemis VI maneuvered into position, escorted by a phalanx of Earth's remaining fighters, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the sight before her. The Kreldor fleet hung in low Earth orbit, their massive ships blotting out the stars. Yet between them darted Earth's defenders, a ragtag assortment of military craft, retrofitted civilian vessels, and hastily assembled space platforms. We're in position, Captain, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his voice tense but steady. Sarah took a deep breath. Initiate the sequence. At her command, Sam's form began to shimmer more intensely, tendrils of energy arsing from his body to interface with the ship's systems. Simultaneously, every transmitter on Earth capable of broadcasting, from military-grade antennas to hobbyist ham radios, began emitting a carefully calibrated electromagnetic pulse. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a ripple becoming a tidal wave, a visible distortion spread through space. It's working. Dr. Bushier's excited voice came over the comm. The quantum field is destabilizing the Kreldor neural network. On the view screen, Sarah watched in awe as the Kraldor ships began to drift, their coordinated attack patterns dissolving into chaos. But their victory was short-lived. "Captain, we've got a problem," Rodriguez called out, his voice tight with worry. "The quantum cascade, it's not stopping. It's spreading faster than we anticipated." Sarah's blood ran cold as she realized the implications. If the cascade continued unchecked, it could disrupt the very fabric of spacetime around Earth. "San, we need to shut it down," she shouted, turning to her alien ally. But San was fully engrossed in the quantum manipulation, his form barely holding its humanoid shape as energy coursed through him. "Cannot stop," he managed to communicate telepathically. "Must complete." In that moment, Sarah understood the true nature of San's sacrifice. He had known from the beginning that this might be a one-way trip. "All ships, fall back to minimum safe distance," Sarah ordered, her voice cracking slightly. "Prepare for emergency temporal shielding." As Earth's defenders retreated, the quantum cascade reached its crescendo. A blinding flash of light engulfed the Kraldor fleet, and for a heart-stopping moment, Sarah feared they had destroyed everything. When the light faded, the sight that greeted them defied explanation. Where the Kraldor ships had been, there was now a swirling vortex of temporal energy. Fragments of alien vessels spiraled into the anomaly, caught in its inexorable pull. "My God," Dr. Bashir breathed over the comm. "It's a temporal rift. We've literally torn a hole in spacetime." As the crew watched in stunned silence, the rift began to contract, pulling the remains of the Kraldor fleet into itself. In a matter of minutes, the threat that had nearly annihilated Earth was gone, swallowed by the very forces of nature they had sought to conquer. But the victory came at a terrible cost. As the rift finally closed, San's form collapsed, the brilliant energy that had sustained him fading to a dull flicker. Sarah rushed to his side, cradling the alien's barely coherent form. "San, hold on. We'll get you help." San's multifaceted eyes focused on Sarah one last time. "No need, Captain. My journey ends here. But yours is just beginning." With a final pulse of light, San's body dissolved into a shower of glittering particles, dispersing into the air around them. For a long moment, the bridge was silent, the weight of their victory and loss settling over the crew. Then slowly, cheers began to erupt from around the world as the realization spread. Earth had survived. Against all odds, humanity had faced an alien invasion and emerged victorious. As Sarah stood, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, she knew that nothing would ever be the same. Earth had taken its place among the stars, not just as survivors, but as a force to be reckoned with. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," she said, her voice steady once more, "send a message to all Earth forces and our Zarquin allies. The Kraldor threat has been neutralized. We've won." As the cheers of her crew washed over her, Sarah gazed out at the stars. San's sacrifice had saved them all, and in doing so, had opened up a universe of possibilities. The invasion was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. Earth triumphant. In the months following the Kraldor invasion, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in human history. The scars of battle were slowly healing, but the changes ran far deeper than mere physical reconstruction. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the podium, facing a sea of faces, human and alien alike. The newly constructed United Earth headquarters in Geneva gleamed in the summer sun, a testament to the new era of cooperation between species. "1 year ago," Sarah began, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd, "we faced annihilation. We stood on the brink of becoming just another conquered world in the Kraldor Empire. But we did not fall. We did not surrender." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the assembly. In the front row, she saw Dr. Omar Bashir and Lieutenant Rodriguez, now key figures in Earth's new interstellar defense force. Behind them, representatives from a dozen alien races sat, their eyes fixed on her with curiosity and respect. We survived not just because of our technology or our military might, Sarah continued. We survived because of our spirit, our creativity, our unwillingness to accept defeat, and most importantly, because we stood united, not just as a planet, but as allies with the Zarquin who sacrificed so much to help us. A holographic image of Sand appeared beside her, his quicksilver form shimmering in the sunlight. A ripple of emotion passed through the crowd. Many had come to know and respect the Zarquin during their time on Earth. Fan and his people showed us that we are not alone in the universe, Sarah said, her voice softening. They gave us knowledge, technology, and friendship, and in our darkest hour they gave us hope. She straightened, her voice gaining strength once more. Today, we take our place among the stars not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals. The United Earth Interstellar Alliance is more than just a defensive pact. It is a promise to explore, to learn to grow, and to protect. Behind her, a massive starship rose into view, its sleek lines a perfect blend of human ingenuity and alien technology. The UES Phoenix, Earth's first true interstellar vessel, represented the dawn of a new age. The Phoenix rises from the ashes of our trial by fire, Sarah declared. It carries with it the best of what humanity and our allies have to offer. It will be a beacon of hope, a force for peace, and a testament to what we can achieve when we work together. As the crowd erupted in cheers, Sarah felt a presence beside her. She turned to see a shimmering form, not quite solid, yet undeniably there. San, or perhaps a part of him, smiled at her with those multifaceted eyes. "You have done well," Sarah Chen, the apparition said, its voice a melody in her mind. "Your people have proven themselves worthy of the stars." Before Sarah could respond, the form dissipated, leaving her with a sense of warmth and possibility. The ceremony concluded with the official signing of the Interstellar Charter, binding Earth and its alien allies in a pact of mutual defense and exploration. As Sarah watched world leaders and alien representatives pledge their commitment to this new future, she felt a profound sense of pride and hope. Later, as the Phoenix prepared for its maiden voyage, Sarah stood in the ship's observation lounge, gazing out at the Earth below. Dr. Bashir joined her, his face reflecting the mix of excitement and trepidation they all felt. "Ready to make history, Captain?" he asked, handing her a data pad with the mission briefing. Sarah smiled, thinking of how far they had come. From a chance encounter near Jupiter to defending Earth from invasion, and now to taking their first true steps into the cosmic ocean. More than ready, Omar. The universe is waiting. As the Phoenix engines hummed to life, Sarah thought of San, of the sacrifices made, and of the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Humanity had been tested, and they had emerged stronger, wiser, and united. "Phoenix to Earth Control," Sarah said, settling into the captain's chair on the bridge. "We are go for launch." "Godspeed, Phoenix," came the reply from Mission Control. "The stars await." With a burst of energy, the Phoenix lifted off, climbing through the atmosphere and into the velvet blackness of space. As Earth receded behind them, growing smaller but no less precious, Sarah felt a swell of emotion. They had done it. They had faced the ultimate threat and not only survived but thrived. Now, with the combined knowledge of Earth and its new allies, they were embarking on the greatest journey in human history. "Set course for the Andromeda Galaxy," Sarah ordered, her voice steady and sure. "Let's see what's out there." As the Phoenix engaged its faster-than-light drive, disappearing in a flash of brilliant light, Earth celebrated. The invasion that had nearly destroyed them had instead propelled them to the stars. It was the dawn of a new age, an age of exploration, discovery, and unity. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, and the universe would never be the same.